The second I opened this lid to apply anti-escape oil, my entire Messor colony panicked and rushed outside. So I had to trick them with food. And by the end of this video, you're going to see anti-larvae that genuinely look like something out of a sci-fi movie. Let's get into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to another weekly ant update. A lot happened this week, so let's jump straight in, starting with the Messor Barbarus colony. This week's main mission was finally applying an anti-escape barrier to the lid. If you remember from last update, this colony has been eating so aggressively that workers kept attempting to climb out over the rim while I was filming. So I picked up some mineral oil, which is a common ant-safe substance keepers use as a slippery barrier. Ants physically can't grip onto a surface coated in it, so it stops them from climbing over smooth edges like the rim of an enclosure or the underside of a lid. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, the moment I opened the lid to start applying it, the entire colony seemed to panic. Workers rushed outside almost instantly, and even the larger workers, the ones that usually stay close to the nest, came pouring out too. At first, I genuinely thought something was wrong, but I think what actually happened is they picked up on the smell of the mineral oil the second the container was opened, and it triggered some kind of alarm or disturbance response. Ants communicate primarily through pheromones, so any unfamiliar strong scent introduced near the nest entrance can easily be interpreted as a threat, even if it's completely harmless to them. So I sat there for a second thinking, okay, how do I actually get this done without stressing them out even more? And then it hit me. Distract them with food. I dropped some food right at the entrance, and almost immediately the colony's attention flipped from something's wrong to there is food outside. Workers started swarming it, and at one point the queen herself even came out to inspect what was happening, which almost never happens since queens typically stay deep inside the nest. I added 2 large mealworms into the mix to really keep them occupied, and it worked perfectly. While they were completely locked in on the food, I was able to apply the mineral oil around the rim of the lid without a single ant noticing. End result, we are so back. I can now film with the lid fully open without worrying about a mass breakout mid-recording, which honestly makes filming this colony so much easier going forward. Now, slightly unfortunate update on the mystery ant from last week. The unusually large one I couldn't decide was a major worker or possibly a second queen. I tried to get a proper close-up shot of her this week and I genuinely could not find her. I lost track of her after day 1. And with how large and active this colony has gotten, spotting one specific individual among that many workers is honestly like trying to find a needle in a haystack. If she resurfaces in a future update, you'll be the first to know, but for now that mystery stays unsolved. What I did manage to get this week though were some incredible close-up shots of the egg pile, and this time I caught some of the less developed brood too, the ones that aren't fully formed workers yet. And I'll be honest, if you've never seen ant brood up close at this stage, it looks genuinely alien. You've got this pile of tiny, white, almost translucent forms in different stages, some still egg-shaped, others starting to take on a larval, segmented look. It's a little creepy if you're not used to it, but it's also one of the most fascinating parts of ant keeping. That eerie-looking pile is literally the next generation of the colony, developing in real time right in front of the camera. With how fast this colony is exploding in population between the egg count and how well they've been eating, it's becoming pretty clear they're going to outgrow their current setup soon. So a bigger enclosure is very likely coming in the near future, which I'll obviously document whenever that happens. Now let's shift over to the Lasius Niger colony. Following up from a couple updates ago, I gave them food like always, waited, and checked in again during the night. And sure enough, they were out there eating exactly like before. I'm honestly relieved every time I confirm this, because it means the nocturnal pattern wasn't a one-time fluke. It's just genuinely how this colony operates now, especially with the summer heat still going. Seeing them actively feeding at night means they're getting the nutrition they need to keep growing their population, even if you'd never guess it from checking on them during the day. One small but important change I made this week. I started cutting the mealworms into smaller pieces before giving them to the colony. I noticed a worker struggling to drag a full mealworm piece toward the nest, and it was simply too large to fit through the entrance tunnel. Ants can only carry or drag food that fits through their tunnel openings. So oversized pieces basically just sit there uselessly outside until they're broken down further. Right now, I'm cutting them into smaller chunks, but I'm actually considering mashing the mealworms into more of a paste next time, almost like a tartare consistency, so the workers can process and transport it even more efficiently. Still testing this out, so I'll update you on whether that ends up working better. Inside the nest itself, things are calm. You've got the queen, a handful of eggs, and a small number of workers staying inside to tend to her and the brood, while the majority of the colony stays active outside foraging. One detail I want to point out, because it's a fun little trick a lot of keepers use. You can actually see one of the larvae with a small blue dot inside it. That's from blue-dyed sugar water. Since sugar water is basically clear liquid normally, it's impossible to tell just by looking whether the colony is actually consuming it or just ignoring it. By adding a small amount of food-safe dye, you can visibly track it moving through the colony, right down to seeing it inside individual larvae after they've been fed. It's a simple way to confirm your feeding efforts are actually working, not just guessing. So overall, a really solid week across both colonies. The Messor colony got a proper escape-proof upgrade, is exploding in population, and probably needs a bigger home soon. The mystery ant is still unidentified for now, and the Lasius colony continues thriving on its night shift, with some small feeding adjustments to help them grow even further. Let me know in the comments if you've ever had to trick your ants with food to get something done, and if you've spotted the blue dye trick in your own colonies before. Thank you all so much for watching and supporting this channel. Every like, comment, and share genuinely helps this channel grow. If you enjoyed this update, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss next week's colony check-in. The workers, the queens, and I wish you an amazing week. See you in the next update.